Right now, there's Drainville and Putnam. This is Georgia 26 extending down into Ellaville. Then you've got 19 coming up from the north. There's Murray's Crossroads there. So if you are familiar with these areas in Duly County, you're listening to me there, now is the time to be headed to your tornado safe place. But then also into Macon County now, we have this tornado warning extended. So because this is just outside of Macon County, we have some time. We're going to come back to this in just a moment. I want to draw your attention up to Houston County now. Just before we got this tornado warning, we got a new severe thunderstorm warning. This is going to be for Houston, Twiggs, Bleckley, over towards Pulaski, down into Dodge, and extending into Lawrence County. Now, I'm going to drag this over here, and we're going to get some information on this one and track this storm first. So this is going to be moving to the east at about 60 miles an hour now. So let's draw this out real quick. And this is going to be moving about like this. All right, so east at 60, so let's draw this for about 30 minutes here. This is going to put it into the Dexter area about 1240, and then over towards Dublin about 1249, Lowry about 1258, and then going to continue to track that. But this kind of the secondary concern right now, right? This is not the potential tornadic storm. This is going to be a severe thunderstorm. Let's bring in meteorologist Jordan West. Jordan, I see over there you got some hail pulled up in Houston County with this storm that I just tracked.
That's right. So it's not only wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour in that storm, especially the leading edge of that storm as it pushes through, but it also got some hail core. Remember, this is just east of I-75, east of Perry, south of Bonaire, headed towards Cochran and Hawkinsville, south and eastward orientation. So that's something else we need to watch out for. Some parts of Taylor County saw some hail earlier this morning as well, but like Forbes is saying, now they have that tornado warning in effect now just for southern portions of that county there in Macon County, Montezuma, Ellaville, and just moving eastward, Marion County, Duly County, Sumter County, and in the National Weather Service chat, they're saying that it's really storm wrapped, so rain wrapped, as the system makes its way eastward. So if there is a tornado on the ground, we're seeing that rotation, at least radar indicated rotation, it's rain wrapped. So two reasons you want to be side: A, the potential for a tornado, and B, even if you want to go outside and take a picture, which you shouldn't do, you wouldn't be able to see it regardless. So that's sort of the situation we're dealing with right now. That warning does expire at 1 p.m., which is about 23 minutes away. And the second warning, this is a severe thunderstorm warning, completely different ball game, is for Bleckley, Dodge, Lawrence, and Pulaski County. That expires at 1:15 p.m. They're going to start making these warning boxes a little bit bigger, simply because there's no point in, creating warning after warning after warning. I think these warnings will start to last a little bit longer, and these boxes will be bigger as this last little wave wraps up. I'm going to send it back to you, Alex.
Yeah, Jordan, so in Macon County right now, this is going to be the time to start putting those tornado plans into action. And we always talk about the polygon and when you need to take action and whether you're inside of it or outside of it. So I want to highlight some specific areas in Macon County, all right? Montezuma is right here. Fields is right here. This is Georgia Highway 26 going from Montezuma to Ellaville, all right? So through Fountainville over to Ellaville. If you are along this road right here, Georgia Highway 26, you need to be headed to your tornado safe place. If you live in Macon County between Montezuma and Andersonville, like you're going down to Americus, right, down into Sumter County down there, I need you to go to your tornado safe place at this time. If you are along 195 between the Duly County line and Fountainville, where it runs into Georgia 26, now is the time to be heading to your tornado safe place. So let's first talk about some areas that would be impacted first in this general vicinity. This is going to be County Road 96, Lee Smith Road, Harmon Road, County Line Road itself. Looks like you've got Reuben Odom Road. There's Les Smith Road. Again, Williams Road, this is going to be just off of Highway 26 here, and then you get into Fountainville. So there's Fountainville Road, and then Highway 95, like we just talked about, to the north of it. Now we begin getting a little closer to Montezuma, right? So if you are on, this is going to be the west side of Montezuma, McDonald Cemetery Road, Key Ridge Road, Englishville Road, going to be wanting to head to your tornado safe place now. And of course, this includes the Oglethorpe area as well. So the reason why I'm focusing on Macon County is because this is where people watch 13 WMAZ. You get to begin to get into different TV markets once you get in towards Ellaville and Andersonville. But if you happen to catch us in Sly County in northern Sumter County, now is the time to be headed to your tornado safe place. So let's flip this over. The storm really wrapped up pretty quick, and this is the area of rotation we're talking about. Whenever we're trying to track a tornado and we're looking for the signs of it, we look for the red and green to come close together, which is what we're seeing there that prompted this tornado warning to be issued. And this is just on the other side of Ellaville. So what we're going to be looking at is the distance, right, from where this would be towards Macon County. That's just 11 miles. Well, when this is moving, this is going to be at 50 miles an hour. It's going to make it 11 miles in not all that much time. And Jordan, it looks like you've got the debris tracker pulled up over there. It looks like we're seeing something, but nothing that's like a clear donut shape.
Exactly. Sometimes we see this type of pattern the further away we get from the radar. However, it does look like at least something is being lofted in the air. The radar in Twiggs County, it points out to, everywhere in central Georgia basically, and it sends us the data back. And this is what we're seeing right now. So not only do we have that some tightening of rotation on the velocity, but we're also seeing that potential debris loft in there. This is called the correlation coefficient. I know a lot of science words, but this is what we look for when we're trying to identify whether or not a tornado is on the ground. So like Forbes was saying earlier, anyone encompassed in this tornado warning, including just about all of Montezuma, should be in their safe place. And what do you look for during your route to being in a safe place? You want as many walls between you and outside as possible. You want to be on the most bottom floor you can be. If that's a basement, then that's a basement. You don't want to be in the attic. You don't want to be, on the second floor. You want to be on the lowest level possible. Obviously, if you have a tornado shelter, that'd be great, but that's not, everyone in central Georgia doesn't have that. So that's just one of the other things that we are looking at.
Yeah, Jordan, it's just an interesting note. I was going back in time from the same product you were looking at here, and just as I was doing that, we got a note from the National Weather Service. This right here would have been, because we're so far away from the radar, could have been a debris signature. That's in southern Marion County. Now, this was at 1229, and we are playing this forward now, and if that were the case, anything that's in the air would have been spread out, which is exactly what we saw there. So this is moving into Ellaville right now. I know, this is technically just outside of our area, but if you have any family, friends, people in Sly County, there's a possible tornado headed into Ellaville right now, but then it's headed into Macon County after that. All right, we've got a lot of rain and lightning going on across central Georgia. We, of course, are going to keep an eye on this tornado warning, but we also have this severe thunderstorm warning. We've had a lot of rain and some lightning in Warner Robins. That's beginning to move out of Houston County into Bleckley County now. Just a quick note for everybody in Twiggs County, the schools are going to be dismissing here in just about an hour. We did get that in about an hour ago. And this storm is going to continue moving into northern Dodge County and eventually into Lawrence County. And then we don't have any other severe thunderstorm warnings outside of that for the time being. But of course, the focus is going to be on the tornado warning, and that's going to be just down to the south and west of where this storm is in Cochran now and in Houston County as that moves into Macon County. So let's draw a new storm track on this tornado warning. It's radar indicated. We don't have it confirmed yet. We suspect that there might have been something, but the radar has not been able to officially confirm it as it moves to the east at about 50 miles an hour. And let's track this into Macon County. So let me grab this tool here. And we're going to track this to the east at 50. All right, so here's Ellaville. And what I'm not going to track is the rain. I'm tracking the rotation here, right? So I'm going to be tracking when a possible tornado would be moving into the general areas. So Andersonville, about 12:54. This warning goes until 1 o'clock. So technically Montezuma would be just outside of that, 1:02. Byramville, about 1:10. And then you can start getting towards Interstate 75, which is right here in Duly County. That would be Unadilla at 1:21, and eventually towards the Elko area. Of course, that's southern Houston County, and that would be about 1:25. So I drew this out longer than the warning goes for, because the warning technically only goes for another 15 minutes for the time being. Just off the top of my head, we see the rotation. We saw what looked like the potential for a tornado debris signature with this, and then now we're seeing a flare-up of lightning right over this area, which can be a sign as to what is going on right now with in terms of some rotation. Now, not too far up the road here, you're going to find the Georgia National Fairgrounds. Jordan, you've got that pulled up. We've been watching this camera for the better half of like 30 minutes now. Some heavy rain has been falling. I also took note earlier that light post down at the bottom of the screen was going like this about 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, definitely. We got a lot of rain moving in. You can see the trees are swaying. You look farther, you have to kind of move closer up to the screen. If you go full screen, that'd be great. You can see the flags there. They're swaying as well. Let's take a look at some of the other sky cameras too. Let's take a look at Macon. You can see pretty much a similar situation. I think the winds are stronger down there in Perry as well compared to Macon, but it's still seeing heavy downpours. Now, if you look in Dublin, the rain hasn't even arrived yet. I mean, it's really just cloudy out there currently at the moment with some heavy traffic for them down there in downtown Dublin. However, two things I did want to know, I'm going to take it back to Perry, was that we do have a couple accidents currently on I-75 near Forsyth. There is an accident near Juliet Road and Tiff College Drive on County Road 271, and then another accident on Rumble Road. With both of these, they say no lanes blocked, but I can imagine there is an increased slowdown. So if you're driving down I-75, A, try to avoid driving at all, and B, just make sure you take it nice and slow. I'm going to send it back to you, Alex.
Yeah, Jordan, some information from Georgia Power. They don't service all of Houston County, but at least the part of Houston County that they do that's not covered by the EMCs, they have 149 customers without power right now. So that's what we're looking at there. Some good news, at least on the debris signature front. We saw that flare up in southern Marion County as what we think was a tornado. Saw that happen. We're not seeing that now. So some good news there. We're looking at Ellaville right now in Sly County for this rotation. We flip this back over to the velocity here, and it's going to be right over the Ellaville area. So if you are watching us from Sly County, we need you in your tornado safe place right now. And all of those spots we talked about 10 minutes ago on if you are south of Montezuma and on the west side of Montezuma, you need to be headed to your tornado safe place right now, because this is going to be about 10 minutes away from you, as we've got about 15 minutes left on the warning. Now, if we back this up to right about 12:30 when we had that signature, right, this is how tight that couplet was, right about there. So if we saw a tornado, this is what it looked like, right? We saw the red and green really close together. That was back in Marion County, just south of Buena Vista. But we play this forward now, and you notice it's a little broader. The area of the red and green meeting is a little longer. So we're not talking about that rotation being necessarily as tight, but I still definitely think there is a threat there. So there's Ellaville, northern Sumter County. If you're in this northern notch of Sumter County, right where Andersonville is, and we need you in your tornado safe place, also over into Macon County like we've been talking about. And of course, that is the reason why we are on the air here, tracking, even if there's not a tornado on the ground right now, obviously tracking the rotation here as it moves through the Ellaville area. So let's see, no new updates, at least on this end here. So we've got this for at least the next 15 minutes until 1 o'clock, or I guess 13 minutes now. But we are also continuing to track this severe thunderstorm warning up to the north. It looks like they just updated, and this is now a confirmed tornado warning. All right, so if you are in Macon County, if you are on the west side of Montezuma and Oglethorpe, if you are in Montezuma and Oglethorpe, and if you are on the south side of Montezuma and Oglethorpe, we need you to be headed to your tornado safe place right now. Now, the reason why this is a confirmed tornado is because they see a dropout on the CC, which I suspect they are looking at right in here. And that would be tied to the rotation there. And just to keep in mind, we're looking at this storm from the radar site in Jeffersonville. So if the radar is in Jeffersonville and we shoot out, obviously the earth begins to curve, and that means we're going to be looking higher in the storm than we would if it was closer to the radar site, which means the debris needs to get higher in order for the radar to see it. And sometimes it can look fuzzy like it does here. And that is what the National Weather Service is picking up on now, saying that this is a confirmed tornado warning. So Ellaville, a ton of lightning right now. In fact, I'm going to turn that off just so that it's easy to see. And I want to drill this back down into Macon County, because now that this is a confirmed tornado with this hook here in the Ellaville area, if you are in Macon County near Andersonville, so on the south side of Macon County, we need you to be headed to your tornado safe place right now. All right, so let's drill this down in here. This is going to be along and south of Highway 26 out of Montezuma and Oglethorpe over towards Ellaville on that south side of Macon County. Here's Georgia Highway 228 into 129 coming into Andersonville there. And then obviously you've got Highway 20, or that is going to be Georgia Highway 128. Is that what yes, 8 from Montezuma down into Andersonville. So the Sly County Emergency Management actually reported the tornado entering from Marion County, so they've updated it, and they're noting that the storm seems to be cycling. So that's interesting. We apparently had a visual confirmation from Sly County, which is why this is now a confirmed tornado warning for Macon County. All right. I also want to draw your attention to one other thing here. We've been talking about Macon County and Montezuma and all of that. We need you in your tornado safe place. That still stands, okay? I want to point out Duly County is right here. Byramville is right here. If this storm is moving to the east at 50, it looks like it's a little further south than it was, and we draw this due east, you know, this is going to implicate, I drew that a little too fast, hold on. This is going to implicate areas further away, right? So if we draw this out for the next 30 minutes, it's going to implicate areas that are not necessarily in the tornado warning here. So I'm going to pull this down real quick, and what you're going to see is you know, Andersonville, Byramville, Vienna could all potentially be in the line of this, especially if it becomes a right turner. But more namely, Andersonville right now is the spot that is catching my attention pretty well here in the next few minutes. Jordan, what do you have over there?
I was just showing it looks more like a hook, at least on the radar. The reflectivity showing the heavy rain. I would consider that a little bit of a hook, and it kind of coincides with the stronger tornadic wind speeds along with that, the rotation. So this is reflectivity showing the rain, and then you look at the velocity, and it's sort of in between where the velocity patterns meet as well. And let's see if it coincides with the correlation coefficient. It looks like it does. So I think right there, I'm going to zoom in as close as I can get to and go back to the radar. Up there, all that lightning. Let me turn that off. U.S. Highway 19 north, getting ready to cross that now. I think that would be like the pinpoint location. So if you're in La Crosse, you know, you need to be in your safe place. Obviously, Bumphead, Andersonville, just looking downstream of this system in general, Alex.
Jordan, I tell you what, I'm looking at something real quick. Can you carry for just a moment more?
So we're watching this one tornado warning. If you're now just joining us, it's currently for Schley, Sumter, and Macon. It is confirmed. The Schley County Emergency Management did report that at least someone seeing this tornado on the ground. Now, could it still be on the ground? Well, potentially, but we are seeing at least that radar indication. We're seeing that hook. We're seeing the stronger wind gusts with the rotation. You can see that here on the velocity where the red meets the green, and they're kind of rotating around each other right about there. So that's ideally where it would be at. And earlier we saw stronger evidence of what we call the correlation coefficient, otherwise known as the debris lofted in the air. So the radar sort of tracks anything that's in the air. That means tree limbs, leaves, even the rain sometimes, even hail sometimes. And we'll look at this to see, you know, are we seeing more debris in this area compared to other parts of central Georgia? Right now it doesn't look like as much, but it's just another parameter we look at when these tornado warnings are apparent.
Yeah, Jordan, what I was doing just a moment ago is I was looking at the winds in this, and I was trying to play it back to what it looked like before, and I think what we're seeing is a cycling happening right now. And if you are in Andersonville, the cycling is going to be happening right over you. You see how the reds and greens come just a little closer together just south of Ellaville right now? I think what might have happened is we had a tornado on the north side, and now we're getting another one developing here on the south side. And if that is indeed the case, you see the green comes in a little bit brighter right there with that last scan. It is a little further away from the red, which is a good sign. But still, you know, if this is happening, I'm slightly concerned it's going to bleed outside of the warning box a little bit, right? So Andersonville, that part of Sumter County, if you're watching us from Americus by chance, you're not included in this at all. North of Americus, areas north of Americus is there in Sumter County, but Andersonville right now is catching my concern. And then obviously we've got Macon County right here. I also want to highlight again, Duly County, you are not in a tornado warning right now, but I wouldn't be surprised if that changed in the next little while. It looks like they're updating a bunch of things. It looks like they're updating the tornado watch. So that is the other thing. We have this tornado watch that continues today, and they are extending it now for Bibb County, all right, until 3 p.m. At least that is what my watch is telling me. So let me pull that up real quick. And you're going to see that begin to scroll across the bottom of your screen. So what they've done is we had the watch be extended until 5 p.m. for areas down to the south. Areas to the north this morning at about 5:45 were added into a tornado watch until 1. That has now been extended until 3. So we still have this threat hanging around for the next little while, even if it's already dumped buckets of rain at your house. Right, we're still in this tornado watch, and we're still going to be watching for that here as we work our way for the rest or through the rest of the afternoon. So this is what we've got going on. We've got this severe thunderstorm warning through parts of Houston, down into Pulaski, Dodge, and Lawrence. A lot of lightning within that. Some severe winds also in place. Maybe some small hail, maybe nickel-sized, and that's continuing to slide in towards the Dexter area, over towards Dublin, on the north side of Eastman in Dodge County, and that's going to continue sliding to the south and east. But what's drawing my attention, obviously the most, is this tornado warning that is hard to see through all the lightning. But we drill it down in here into that, that's going to be the Sly, or really the Sly, Sumter, Macon County, where they all three come together there, where we're going to be watching for that here in the next little while. So let me flip this back over to the velocity. Again, not a clear-cut signature, right? But as I was explaining earlier, we are looking fairly high in the atmosphere. So if there is a tornado on the ground with a tighter circulation, we might be seeing the top of that, right? The tornado might be spinning at a wider scale above it, and then down below it, it's kind of like a ballerina. It's spinning, even more so. So that's why they're keeping this going. There's another new radar scan right there. If we are seeing anything, it is going to be right there. It is going to be right on the Sly, Sumter County line, and this is going to skirt by the southern edge of Macon County, it looks like, but then right into Duly County. So if you are in Byramville, I'm starting to think about my tornado safe place here over the next few minutes because this warning's set to expire in about 5 minutes. And it does look like it is cycling, and I suspect we're going to see this be extended into Duly County here, specifically in the Byramville area and areas just south of Byramville. So this is going to be obviously north of Lake Blackshear, but right along the river there as it comes out of Montezuma and heads down towards Lake Blackshear in the next few minutes. So let's go ahead and give you an early heads up here before this warning is issued. Highway 90 out of Macon County. This is Highway 230 out of Byramville down towards Lake Blackshear. If you live in this area, we need you to start thinking about your tornado safe place because there is the potential for a tornado not all that far from you in the just south of Andersonville. And that's what we're going to be watching for as we see this being about 11 miles from the county line here. All right. We have a new tornado warning for Dodge and Lawrence County. We need to go over to that real quick. Let's see here. So this is going to be a new one, and this is going to be running until 1:30. Is that right? 1:30. Yes. So this is going to be just south of Cochran in the Dodge County vicinity. And you see this little notch right here. That is right where the tornado would be. So let's get you some roads as quickly as we can. If you are on Georgia Highway 117 near Plainfield coming out of Eastman, I need you in your tornado safe place right now. Not 5 minutes from now, not 2 minutes from now. I need you to get up and go right now because it's literally right over this area as we speak. And then let's go further down the line and get this into Lawrence County. Bay Springs Church Road, Coley Rogers Road, Airport Road. This is going to be Stan McDaniel Road, Reedy Branch Road, Sophia Drive, Horn Road. This is exactly where this rotation would be. Let's keep going here. Fountain Road, Kelly Butler Road. This black line you see right here is the county line into Lawrence County. You get, this is going to be Gingo Birch Road and then Birch Road right there. And this is going to, Jordan, what is the movement on this? Do you know?
It's moving southeast. We're at 45 miles per hour. I have that pulled up.
Yeah, let's run over to that real quick. So Jaybird Springs, it's on the southern edge of that cone, so I'm thinking it stays maybe just to the north of that.
That right. I do think this cone is a little big for the tornado warning. I think Cattle, for the most part, I think you guys are good. However, I wouldn't say Eastman is out of the clear yet, but yeah, it's moving southeastward at 45 miles per hour, so rather quickly. And are you seeing evidence of more of a tornadic circulation there, Alex?
I was just looking at that over here. Yes, I think there could be a case made for it right here, just south of Plain. Yeah, that right there. So that would have been, because that's right there with the notch. And I'm curious if I back this up just
We are seeing a debris signature of some sorts there, it looks like.
Yeah. See, yeah, and sometimes in this situation, it's a little hard to tell because it's right on the edge of that precip. But yeah, there's definitely something fishy going on there. Look, even if we can't figure out if this is, obviously a tornado on the ground right now, if I'm in this spot, I do not want to be just outside hanging around, and especially as this moves into Lawrence County. So all those roads I was talking about, 117, here's Georgia Highway 46 here. That's going to be just out of Eastman. We're going to be looking at this moving in that general direction. I want to highlight for Eastman downtown, we are not looking at necessarily, yes, you're technically in the polygon, but I really am not that concerned about Eastman downtown, right? This is going to be just north of Eastman. The tornado is going to be in this general area. So Dodge County High School, you're okay. All the Dodge County schools, you are okay. This is going to be to the north of Eastman, at least for the tornado threat, right? And this is going to be moving into Lawrence County. So this doesn't have that much further to go in Dodge County before it enters Lawrence County. So just generally speaking, if you live in Lawrence County between Eastman and Cadwell, now is the time to be headed to your tornado safe place as we continue to track this. Let's see if, I'm sorry, Jordan, what was the motion on it? We said
southeast at 45. Yes.
Okay, so let's draw this real quick. I'm going to draw that the wide track.
Yeah, you got to zoom out a little bit more probably.
And let's track it inside the polygon there. Okay. So we just get Plainfield, it looks like, at 1 o'clock, which is right now. And in fact, it's moving past Plainfield as we speak. So we've got this warning for another 30 minutes. Again, this part of Dodge and Lawrence County is not all that highly populated, so we're not picking up on a bunch of things on the map. It is worth noting, Jordan, though, that it is 1 o'clock and we did lose the
tornado warning down there. It's just like, and the severe thunderstorm warning is still up though from Ellaville into Montezuma too.
Right, but with this signature right here, look, if you are in Duly County in Byronville, I'm still watching this very closely. In fact, yeah, I'm going to watch that very closely. Jordan, maybe we can track this. I'm going to check in with the Weather Service on this and see what they're thinking of it right there on the county line.
Okay, yeah. And the other thing to note is that, we look at correlation coefficient, so the debris loft in the air. But as I mentioned before, the farther out you get from the radar, even this sort of starts to get skewed. So it's possible that we don't know how much debris is off. It's kind of like up here towards just west of Macon County. It looks like there's a little bit of a cell there. However, if we look on the radar and see what's going on there, we do have what looks like a storm, which is now catching my eye, Alex.
Where is the, I'm sorry?
Just west of, let's see, Taylor County, yes.
Yeah.
Seeing debris loft in the air there. Let's see. Potentially.
I think it's picking up on some. Well, I'm looking at it from 2 different radar sites, and I see 2 different things in the air. A quick note. Let's slide back down to the south real quick. Yeah, this warning right here. Mm-hmm. So I'm not quite sure what's going on with it. Obviously the rotation is still there. The Weather Service just said the rotation is still there. There's the new tornado warning right there. All right. So
there we go.
Dooley County now. If you are in Dooley County, we've been talking about it. We need you to be headed to your tornado safe place, Byronville and Vienna. If you guys could bring this back over to me real quick. This is going to be basically the whole county, Vienna to Unadilla on the interstate, and then areas west for the time being. It is worth noting that they did not call this a confirmed tornado. This is back to just a regular tornado warning, if you will, radar indicated. But the signs of rotation, they are still there, and it's going to be right in this notch right here that's now in Sumter County. I want to point out Montezuma and Oglethorpe, if you're watching from those cities, so inside city limits, not just a mailing address. I think you're in the clear right now. This is going to be just south of Andersonville. And this is going to be crossing the river, the Flint River, as it gets down towards Blackshear and eventually into Dooley County. And it looks like it's going to slide somewhere between Byronville and Vienna. And this warning is going to go here for the next 45 minutes. So that's what we're watching. Jordan, that signature is a little concerning over in Dodge County. Mm-hmm. Let's run back over to that real quick.
Yeah, between the base velocity and the storm relative velocity, we're seeing, regardless of the tornado on the ground or not, maximum sustained wind speeds between 60 and 75 miles per hour in that location where you're seeing the yellow. So I should say really wind gusts, and that's moving along and with that wave coming through Dodge into Lawrence County. But we are still watching that potential tornado there too. That would, of course, increase the wind speeds within that isolation there. But just looking at the radar, it's hard to, there's that little bump, that little notch in the wave that's coming through. You can obviously see where that potential tornado would be located. Just looking at the correlation coefficient again, the debris aloft in the air, it looks more so just south of Cadwell, but I would say that Eastman, and let me double check on that with the velocity, Eastman is mostly in the clear, and again, that includes Dodge High School. So I'm assuming Dodge High School is, sort of in their safe place right now. Just know that you guys should be fine, but let's just stay in your safe place until this tornado warning comes over, just in case.
Yeah, Jordan, that's probably a good idea just for the time being, because even outside of this tornado threat, we still have the strong damaging wind threat today. And as I was talking about all morning here on 13 WMAZ, that strong damaging wind threat is really going to be driving our forecast today. So we are going to be watching for that even outside of this tornado threat. And what I want to do now in Lawrence County is get you some roads here. Because this is moving into an area where we haven't really talked about a ton of roads yet. So here, this is going to be Georgia Highway 126. And then we've got McCullough Road, Sapp Christian Road. We got Chuck Thompson Road. You get up towards Pleasant Hill Church Road, Pat Mullis Road. If you're hearing your road names, you're close to these roads, now is the time to be headed to your tornado safe place. Interior structure, lowest level. It needs to be a permanent structure, not a trailer. Interior, foundation on the ground structure, away from doors and windows, as inside as you can get as possible. Jordan, what have you got over there?
Looks like we are seeing a lot of power outages just north of Cadwell, up to 271 customers without power there. That's south of Dexter and north of Plainfield. I can imagine we'll see more once they start to be reported.
Right, and the reason why we talk about power outages in a case like this is because it's typically our first sign that something has happened. Because if you lose power, it gets reported pretty quickly, and we can use that as a proxy and be like, okay, a ton of people just lost power here. Something happened to cause that, and yes, let's do that. If we've got that, Megan, let's take an outage map. If not, we can pull it up, and there we go. Okay, there. So, a handful of outages there in Houston County. Jordan was talking about down in Dodge County, where the warning is right now between Cadwell. Yeah, right in there. So in that general area, we'll check in and see if that's the result of down power outages. And I tell you what, for the folks in the newsroom, if we could check in with Lawrence County, or I'm sorry, Dodge County, eventually Lawrence County, but right now Dodge County, because this is moving into Lawrence County as we speak. All right, I want to get back to the roads here, because this is the most important part in terms of taking shelter and where you need to be doing that. I'm going to turn off the lightning again, and in fact, I'm going to turn off the radar as well. And let's get down in here. So we're talking about, this is going to be Chick Inn Road. You've got Birdie Gay Road, George Parrott Road, William Dennis Road, over towards Kelly Butler Road, St. John Road. This is where you need to be headed to your tornado safe place. Generally speaking, if you are in Lawrence County and you are on the west side of 319 right here, this is where we need you headed to your tornado safe place. The potential tornado is just on the other side of Plainfield now. In fact, it's probably right where that white arrow is and moving into Lawrence County. And of course, that would put it in this general vicinity here in pretty short order. Also, if you are in Wheeler County, I'm also beginning to think about my tornado safe place, just as we were talking about Duly County about 15 minutes ago with this warning continuing down there. I tell you what, Jordan, let's check in on the hail in just a moment. I want to get some roads in Duly County as well, just because this is now beginning to cross the river into the county. Let's see, let's turn off the lightning. So this is Byramville. This is Georgia Highway 230. And then we've got some more roads in here. We've got Old Dixie Highway, Folks Road, you got Howell Road, Josie Avenue, River Road. Again, this is the area where you need to be headed to your tornado safe place right now. Not 5 minutes from now, not 10 minutes from now, not 2 minutes from now, right now. You got Thrill Hill Road, West Road, Continuing to go down towards the south, you got County Road 47, Grove Landing Road, and then you've got, let's see, what is that over there? That's West Road again, and then Godwin Road. This is going to be where the next threat for this tornado is going to be as it begins to cross the river. And that's not a fantastic signature, but it's certainly a squirrely one, as Ben likes to say, as this moves into Duly County now, south of Byronville. Also, if you are listening to us on the radio and you are driving south into Duly County, I would stop in Unadilla. Let this go through. It's probably raining cats and dogs where you are, but sit in that rather than sitting in a tornado. Something similar down in Vienna. I would stop in Vienna and not go north for the time being. All right, Jordan, let's check in on that hail now. It looks like you got two hail signatures over there.
That's right. One just south of Montezuma near Macon County, moving eastward into Byronville, associated with that warning or warnings that we were looking at earlier. That'll be also crossing I-75. So another reason to try to avoid I-75 between Duly and Crisp County. And then if we look off to the east during that, where that second warning is, where we saw power outages just south of Dexter, between Dexter and Cadwell, we do have another hail core. We're seeing some brown there. So let's zoom in and see the size of that hail core.
We've got a new tornado warning coming. This is going to be Lawrence County, the southern bit of Dodge County, and into Wheeler County. Look at this rotation, how it's tightened up here in just the past couple of scans. This is far southern Lawrence County. There's your new warning. This is going to be Dodge, Lawrence, Montgomery, and Wheeler, and this is going to carry us now until 2 o'clock. If you are in Alamo and if you are north of Alamo in Wheeler County, now is the time to be headed to your tornado safe place. Again, that is the lowest level, away from doors and windows. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible and hang out there for the next little while as we continue to track this storm. So the good news is we are not seeing a debris signature at the moment. The bad news is we're a little ways away from the radar site. So if it's just forming, if it's a weak tornado, we wouldn't exactly expect to see one off the bat. And regardless, that rotation is definitely pronounced enough to prompt this new warning. So this is going to be, there's Georgia Highway 46 and 319, very close to that intersection, and Georgia Highway 126 right here. So this is far southern Lawrence County, very close to the Wheeler County line. So let's get you some more roads in here in areas that need to be taken cover right now. I just said Georgia Highway 26, Amerson Butler Road, Union Springs Road. You got Scotland Road right here. You've got Johnny Martin Road, Anderson Road, Lower Farmhouse Road, or Lowry Firehouse Road, T.H. Hardin Drive, and then this is Georgia Highway 26 going into Wheeler County there. Let's go into Wheeler now. We've got 126 right here. You've got Doubletree Road, Clark Lane, that's right just past the county line there. You've got Snow Hill Baptist Church Road, Mount Carmel Church Road, Pinehurst Place, County Road 141, Little Rock Road, Timber Road, and Heritage Road. That is all getting into Alamo. So in that general area, we need you headed to your tornado safe place right now because of the strong circulation signature that we have in parts of Dodge County. Jordan, I think this right here is the best signature we have had all day long.
That's right. And then I just wanted to say, like, all clear for Dodge, Dodge County High School. And then I believe there's also, let's see, Middle Georgia State University is also, there's a campus in Eastman there. So you guys should be good. I know you guys are still under that polygon. You obviously definitely want to remain indoors, but this is now more so a southern Lawrence County situation. Right, Alex?
Yes, yeah, southern Lawrence County, but then there's also just this one little notch of Dodge County. So if you are in Dodge County, literally on that little notch right there, I don't think you're in the clear just yet, but for the most part, give it 5 minutes and you will be, as that moves into Wheeler County shortly after this. Now, this says 1:30. Let me drag this just a little more this way, and you're going to get this tornado warning here until 2 o'clock, right? So we're going to be hanging with this one for at least a little while as we track this into the Alamo area. Again, northern parts of Wheeler County, this is where we need you headed to your tornado safe place. That includes the city of Alamo. If you are watching us from Alamo right now, you've got a tornado that's on the Lawrence County line and moving in your general direction as we speak, and it's going to continue to do that here over the next little bit. I want to go check in on Duly County because this is what we were tracking initially. This warning came out shortly after 12:30. The rotation does not look as good on it, or as good in the sense of tightening up and producing a tornado. I just checked out the wafted debris a moment ago. There is a little something right there, but I don't think that is actually debris in the air. What we would be looking for if we see tornado debris would be the sea of orange and red, and then in the middle of it, a blue donut or a white donut. And we're not seeing that here, which is a good sign. So I think the storm in Duly County is losing its punch. That to say, the tornado warning continues until 1:45. So if you are in Duly County, we want you to stay in your tornado safe place. We don't want you going anywhere just yet because the warning is continuing. And we've seen this before where the storm has cycled. It looked like it produced something on the other side of Ellaville. It weakened and then it pulsed back up as it got towards Andersonville. And now it looks like it's weakening again. So we're going to keep an eye on it. As of now, this tornado warning continues, but there's nothing jumping out at me as serious stuff for the time being. So let's go back to Dodge and Lawrence County, or really Lawrence County now, and let's track this as it moves into Wheeler County, because I think this is probably our biggest threat right now in terms of a tornado threat in central Georgia. I tell you what, Jordan, let me send this over to you. Let's see if we can track this here over the next little while, and I'm going to check in on what else is going on across central Georgia just to get my bearings real quick.
That's right. Okay, so yeah, we're tracking this one little area of rotation there. It's mostly in southern Lawrence County, and like Alex Forbes mentioned earlier, there's a little snippet of Dodge County that technically extends farther eastward. It could be tracking there as well. So what it'll do is it'll be technically Lawrence County briefly and the southern end of Dodge County, or eastern end rather, and then moving into Wheeler County near the Alamo area. So if you're in Alamo, Mount Vernon, places just south really of Soperton, that's where you need to be, and you're a safe place. Cadwell, you guys are good. Once again, Eastman, you guys are good, but we're talking about the eastward end of Dodge County that's still within that tornado warning. McRae, you guys are just south of this warning. We just got a new radar scan there showing maybe a little bit more tightening of the rotation.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, and that's right at that Dodge line. All right, so we just got an update in from the Dodge County EMA Director, Jamie Wilkinson. He said they're only seeing some wind and rain right now, a few down trees scattered around the county in the Plainfield area, and that is where we were tracking that rotation. So that is north of Eastman and the Middle Georgia State campus, of course. His crews are not on the road yet. They're waiting until the storm passes. And his advice to people in town right now in Dodge County is to stay off the road and let us go do their job. Don't go drive around looking for damage. Jordan, that's the latest out of Eastman and Dodge County.
Yes, and it looks like we do have more power outages reported. So this is going to be in a group. So we have one group with over 600 without power, and that does include both the Dexter and Rents, Georgia. And then we have another group, as I mentioned before, Chester, near the Carmel Baptist Church, that area, talking about 200 customers without power, and then a small section in Cordele with 150 Cadwell, 150 customers without power as well.
I'm sorry, Jordan, where, the Carmel Church, where was that?
That is near, let's see.
Was that in Lawrence or Dodge?
Lawrence.
I'm pretty sure I read that road out.
Yes, Dublin Eastman Road.
Okay, that's a good note for our newsroom to check in with an area there, because that is right where we saw the rotation go over, and if there's a power outage there, there's the likelihood that something has happened there. So that was Carmel Church, Mount Carmel Church, I believe, is the name of the road.
And that extends into like Dexter, that area, as well as Rent. So that area is where we're going to be looking for any damage.
Yeah, and I believe that's the Plainfield area as well, right? So if we zoom this in here, this is right when...
that's just north of the Plainfield area, yes.
Right. Yeah, so this is where the reports of the down trees from the Dodge County EMA Director is. So I suspect something may have happened there in Dodge County, just on the north side of Eastman, which would have been right when this was issued. Now I'm kind of curious to go back and look. Before I do that, just want to emphasize again, we're on the air for Wheeler County right now. We want you in your tornado safe place, but I am going to go back and look and see if we can pick up... sometimes if we play this back, it looks like that right there could have been our potential tornado debris signature. That would have been at 104. It is now 117, but that would line up with the down trees report, but then also the power outages as well. So let's play this forward. That same general area, right, is going to be in this area of Lawrence County, and we're seeing something happening here, but if this were a clear tornado, you would see just that donut right on top of there instead of it extending like that. Let's go back over to that's base velocity. Let me get over to the relative velocity here. If we're seeing anything right now, it's going to be right on the Lawrence, Dodge, Wheeler points, or yeah, those three right where they all come together. And now it looks like it's moving fully into Wheeler County. All right, if you are in Alamo right now and you have not gone to your tornado safe place, I need you to do it right now, okay? This is coming into town as we speak. Even if there's not an exact tornado on the ground at this moment, I certainly would not want to be standing outside and watching the rotation go over me, because if it's not on the ground right now, it could be dropping at any moment. And this looks like, right, if this is it right here where the red and green come together the tightest, it looks like that would be headed right into Alamo, if not just south of it. So in Alamo right now, we need you headed to your tornado safe place. And then also just looking beyond Alamo, if you're along Highway 280, that's Georgia 126 there. This is going to be on the east side of Alamo now. We need you to be headed to your tornado safe place. This is going to be just north of Advance, and this is tracking to the east here over the next little while. Obviously, Wheeler County is not the biggest county in the world in terms of size, so it's going to be able to make it through Wheeler County at a relatively quick pace and eventually get into Montgomery County. And it looks like if it's able to do that, it would be just south of the Mount Vernon area. But with these types of storms today, we are going to be looking at the type of atmosphere that doesn't necessarily support a tornado being on the ground for very long. So that's a big if it's able to do that, and that's what we're going to be watching for here over the next little bit. So let's talk about what's going on, just big picture, across central Georgia. We've got rain left over in Macon, Warner Robins, Irwinton, Milledgeville, even some lightning still, even back up towards, that's going to be just north of Columbus and into the Atlanta area. Our severe weather is on the leading edge of this line that in three different ways kind of coalesced about 2 hours ago and really became the main line today. Look at all that lightning with the both tornado warnings we have. Now, the tornado watch does continue for central Georgia for parts of our area until 5 p.m., for other parts until 3. So if you were to draw a swath like this, so Washington, Wilkinson, Twiggs, Houston, Peach, Crawford, Upson, that goes until 3. We are going to lose that at 3 o'clock. It's going to continue down to the south, and really where we're tracking these storms right now, until 5 p.m. tonight. Again, that's the watch. That means the ingredients are there to cause severe weather. The warning means the ingredients are cooking. They're coming together. They're actively baking. There's something going on in the atmosphere, and that's what we're seeing. Jordan, you've got a track pulled up over there, drawing that into Alamo, and it looks like they just updated the warning as we are looking at that.
That's right. So before I do that track, they may have changed the speed. I want to note that it did slow down earlier. It was moving southeastward at 45 miles per hour. Now it's slowing down to, say, 35 miles per hour. So we're talking about Alamo by 1:30. You should already be in your safe place regardless. Stuckey at 1:34 p.m. and 1:37 p.m. the Glenwood area. And another thing that I did want to note is that they did update the storm outlook for all of central Georgia. At first, it was all a level 3 severe weather risk, but they've trimmed that back. Level 1, which is I'm not really concerned of parts of our northern counties. They're just north of Macon, but along Macon, along parts of northern Houston County, Wilkinson, Twiggs County, you guys are under that level 2, but that level 3 coincides with that tornado watch that we have in effect for places mostly south of Perry, south of Wrightsville, as those multiple tornado warnings are currently in effect. So I can see why they did this, but we also are still monitoring this severe weather in general today, but also overnight, because we do have another round of rain moving through. I'll talk about future view a little bit later, but I think the priority is these warnings right now.
Right, yeah, and as you were doing that, I was looking into this Dodge County warning that we still have for the next 20 minutes here. So there's still a notch here in Dodge County on the radar. You can see that right there, just on the other side of Vienna. But I was looking at the winds in this, and the winds just do not look that impressive. Earlier, if I back this up, we were watching this right here. This is when it looks decently impressive, right? That's on the Sumter-Sly County line. We play that forward, and it just loses, not totally, but it loses that characteristic of a strong rotation. And there's no other clear point in this where I'm seeing any strong rotation. So this warning continues for Duly County. We want you to hang out in your tornado safe place for at least a little while longer, because the storm does have a history of cycling, we believe, which means it kind of pulsed up on the west side of Ellaville, let go, and then pulsed up again over Andersonville, and now it's kind of letting go. So we don't want to, just rule it out completely, but we are not seeing anything, at least at the moment. Maybe a little something there near Vienna. Let me look at the radar compared to that. Yeah, maybe a little something right there, maybe a little rotation in the atmosphere. But regardless, the lightning continues, the thunder is continuing. I would just stay away from doors and windows right now, stay in your most interior room, and that's probably the smartest thing to do in Duly County as that warning continues here for the next little while. But in Alamo right now, this is where we've been highlighting where we need you in your tornado safe place. Look at that rotation right there. Let me draw this on here for you. So if the red is going away from the radar, right, it's going to be something like that, which is a little peculiar, Jordan, because that would be clockwise, right?
Yeah.
Unless it's this right here.
Right.
Because then that would be counterclockwise. But that would be in the Alamo area. Let me look at that compared to the radar real quick.
And then it does look like they technically canceled the tornado warning for Dodge County.
Right.
So I would say Dodge County is in the clear of at least the potential for a tornado.
Yeah. So so what they did was they trimmed back this warning to that Dodge County line, and technically buried in, if I turn off the radar here, buried in all that is the old warning, but that can also go away, right?
Right.
If you are in Lawrence or Dodge County, we think you're in the clear right now. We don't see an active tornado threat for you. This is going to be, or I should say in that original Lawrence part just south of Cadwell, really this is going to be almost entirely in the Alamo area right now, and then moving into Mount Vernon here over the next little while as we continue to track this warning for the next 20 minutes now, as it is in the Alamo area. And we drill this back down in here with the velocity. Again, if we're seeing anything, it's going to be, I'm thinking really just right over the Alamo area as we speak. That's where you get the little bend in this velocity signature here. Or it would be on that south side right there, which doesn't line up the best with the reflectivity, with the radar, with the rain map. But it's still a possibility, and it just depends on how the radar is reading it, and as we've talked about earlier today, how far away we are from the radar and how far up it is looking in the storm. So good news, they are updating the Duly warning. They're continuing it. The good news is they've canceled it for Macon, Sly, and Sumter counties, but it is going to continue now for Duly County, as we were just talking about with the lightning. Again, if there's anything here, it's very broad right now. I'm not seeing anything jump out at me. And in fact, I want to look at it on my phone too on a different color scale just to make sure I'm not missing anything. Yeah, there still just is not a ton jumping out at me. Let me flip this over to the base velocity and see if that changes anything. I mean, maybe right here, but I think that's more the radar just not reading something correctly because of the location of it. But still in Duly County, we want you in your tornado safe place. I'm not the most concerned I've been, right? But I am still looking at a red box on my screen that's called a tornado warning. And if you're between Pinehurst, Vienna, and really closer to the Crisp County line right now, we want you in your tornado safe places. This is going to continue here for the next 20 minutes there in Duly County. So, yes. All right, do we have them right now? We do. All right, so this is Dodge County. There's picture number one. Looks like some limbs in the road, some power lines down in the road as well. Important to note, don't go driving around, please. And if you do, if you don't listen to me, don't drive over the power lines. There's a tree in the road there in Dodge County. Looks like a sheriff's officer is there as well. And here's picture number three. Looks like some limbs down close to a house. Looks like the house is okay. And that's going to be here for the next little bit. We just got an update to that warning. They're continuing it, and it's radar indicated. Megan, if I tell you what, or if somebody in the newsroom is listening to me, can you send me those photos on Teams, please? And then also, if the location with the road, I assume that was near the Pineview area, or the Pinehurst, yes, that one.
Pine.
Yes. If we could get that, that would be great. So here's this updated tornado warning. Continues now for a very small part of Lawrence County. You see that box right there. That's going to be the Lawrence part of the storm. Technically, part of Treutlen County is in this. I'm not concerned about Treutlen County in this. So if your phone's going off, your weather radio's going off, you're in Treutlen County, you obviously have a storm rolling in. But Jordan, I'm not seeing anything in Treutlen County that is catching my eye, at least for the time being.
Yeah,
I mean, Alamo is still my focus there.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything there either. I think it's farther southward.
Right.
within that warning.
So let's say Lawrence, I mean, honestly, Lawrence is almost completely done with it, if not completely done. In fact, I'll go ahead and give you the all clear in Lawrence, all right? All clear in Lawrence County. If you are in Wheeler County and Montgomery County, especially in the northern parts of these counties, we need you in your tornado safe place. I really want to begin highlighting Mount Vernon. If you are in Mount Vernon right now, and then in the northern part of Montgomery County, we want you headed to your tornado safe place. If we're seeing something right now, it's going to be traveling right along 280 between Alamo and Glenwood. This is Georgia 19 right here. And then you get the river crossing over into Montgomery County. 221 coming out of Mount Vernon. And then you've got 280 continuing down to the south there. So really along 280 right now between Alamo and then on the other side of Mount Vernon, we're going to continue tracking this. Let's check in with the debris and see if we're not seeing anything, which is some good news there. But we want you to still be taking your tornado precautions right now. The other thing that we were tracking earlier today, we've had some large hail, and it looks like we still have actually a brand new tornado warning, Jordan. This is going to be extending the Duly warning. So here's what we need you to do. I'm going to turn off the radar and lightning again so that we can see very clearly where this is. If you are in Vienna, we already had you in your tornado safe place. We are going to extend that down to Cordele now, especially if you are in Crisp County. This is going to be north of Cordele in Crisp County. We need you headed to your tornado safe place. But then Wilcox County, almost the entire county included in this, from Pineview down to Rochelle, down to the county line. We need you headed to your tornado safe place. There's no specific part of Wilcox County that I need to pick out right now because pretty much the whole county all the way to Abbeville is included in this brand new tornado warning that's going to carry us for the next 45 minutes. It's 1:29 and this new tornado warning is going to go until 2:15. Okay, we got some information here from Lawrence County. Reports of a couple trees and wires down in Rents and in Cadwell that would line up with that last tornado warning. There are some folks going around to check it out. Otherwise, the sky is clearing and the rain is letting up there. All right, Jordan, let me tell you what. Can I send this over to you to track this Duly crisp storm into Wilcox? I'm going to take care of some stuff here.
That's right. I think that little yellow notch that we're talking about that, because we're farther away from the radar could be nothing, but also could be something. It's something that the National Weather Service is looking at. It's currently moving eastward at 45 miles per hour. So I'm going to take it from that central point between Vienna and Cordele, both of which should be in their safe place. It shouldn't be driving along I-75 at this time because if this is a tornado on the ground, this is where it'll be crossing right now, but eastward at 45 miles per hour. Let's see, east. So Pitts is the only one that's popping up. It looks like around 1:48 p.m. Pineview, this warning is just north of you guys, but be on the lookout. And Lake Blackshear, you guys thankfully are actually just south of this tornado warning. Lake Blackshear, about a month ago, had a tornado run through parts of Lake Blackshear and did a lot of damage. So luckily, all of this is just north of that area for now. But let's look at the reflectivity to see if we're seeing any rotation. If this is a tornado on the ground, it does look like it's rain wrapped because of all the rainfall and all of the lightning, but we're not really seeing much of a notch here. Debatably, this little, I'm gonna call it a nugget here, this here.
Yeah, hey Jordan, while we're checking that out, we have visual or something to look at here. We've got a video from the Lawrence Wheeler County line, is that right? All right, so that looks like a shelf cloud to me. Let me
yes.
Get a little closer. So that would be, if we're gonna see something out of this, I tell you what, Sherrod, can you work some magic and pop me up in front of this video? If we can do that. I'm going to see if I can point something out here because obviously you look, there I am. Okay, so you look at this and it looks scary, right? This would be the shelf cloud rolling in. If we are going to see a tornado, what's going to happen is you're going to see a little appendage coming out of the clouds on that leading edge right there. And the good news is, at least from this view, we're not seeing that. It looks like the most intense part of the storm where it gets darker right there and that rain shaft continues to go. But maybe something right there. Let's see, he's going to pan back over it, or whoever shot this is going to pan back over it into a second. It looks like there might have been some rising motion right there. Maybe a little bit, maybe. That might be a stretch, but still, that is what we would be looking for in an instance like this. So I want to emphasize, please do not go outside and try to look at this. This is a dangerous situation. That is an interesting debris, or not debris, but a wind
Velocity.
The velocity, there's the word I'm looking for, over on Jordan's screen. Let's jump over to that real quick because that is that Crisp County storm.
That's right. That's just north and east of Cordele, but it looks like, and it's, you know, a tornado, so it looks like it's getting ready to or currently crossing I-75 now, just north of 280 along 257, headed towards East Crisp. So just, you know, if you're in this area, if you're in this tornado warning, you should be in your safe place right now. And that includes everybody. When we say safe place, it means the most central part of your home, as many walls between you and outside. That's the case for this tornado, the previous tornadoes, and this tornado out eastward towards Alamo, Mount Vernon. Soperton, I don't think you guys are anywhere near this tornado, but hey, just in case, you know, be in that safe place. Be as interior and low as you can in your home. In a basement, for example, on the first floor if you don't have a basement, and once again, in a closet of some sorts.
Yeah, that's right. And it's just a good piece of advice, generally speaking, is bathrooms don't usually have you know, a window. They're not the most exterior room. They're typically pretty interior to whatever structure you're in, so that's typically a good place to be. I'm looking at two things here. There's the circulation potentially going into Mount Vernon. So if you are in Mount Vernon right now, we need you headed to your tornado safe place, but then also, as we were just talking about, that one south of it. So some, you know, areas, there could be an argument made there. The two I just highlighted were the big ones. But if you are along the river right now between Mount Vernon and Alamo, between Wheeler and Montgomery counties, we need you headed to your tornado safe place. 511 traffic cam and Cordele. Do we have it in Cordele? This is Cordele. Okay, so here's your storm. Look at this.
Oh, wow.
Sherrod, can we work some magic again? Can we pop me up on this? So what we're going to see, let's try this again. There we go. If somebody's listening to me and driving this camera, if we could tilt it up a little bit, that would be great. You got obviously the dark clouds right here. I suspect, so this is Cordele 75 north. I believe we're looking south. I believe this is the southbound lane here because the dark clouds are on the right side. So if we're seeing anything, I think it would be right over there. And that's what we're going to be watching for here in the next few minutes. Looks like we got some more news here. The Circle K in downtown Cochrane, significant damage to the awning there. If we could get those up, maybe in tag board here in the next few minutes, that would be good to look at. That was in Cochrane. So I don't think we ever had a warning in Cochrane. That would have been, yeah, so we'll get that in a second. I don't think Cochrane was ever in a tornado warning, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it looks like we have a new severe thunderstorm warning there behind you, Alex. Before we get to that, I did want to note that it does look like Wheeler County has 820 customers currently without power. Telfair County, 3,500 plus without power customers, and then Montgomery 1,700 plus. So I think we're getting some strong wind gusts move through. Yeah. Looking at Dodge County, 993 plus, and then Lawrence County 842 customers plus. I think we do have that photo of the Circle K now too.
Yeah, if we can go and pull those up. There's the Circle K. That's in Cochrane. And if I'm not mistaken, this is just next to downtown Cochrane, and there's a restaurant right there. I believe I've been to the Circle K because there's the McDonald's attached to it. So this is just literally right next to downtown Cochrane. I believe the courthouse is right across the street. And again, I think this would have been straight line wind damage with the awning there at the Circle K. This is the one with the McDonald's that's like attached to the same building. That one that's just on the other side of Cochrane there. Let's see. So this severe thunderstorm warning is interesting because it's continuing along that tornado warning where we had the rotation there in Mount Vernon. It looks like they're just going to replace this with the severe thunderstorm warning for the time being, and that's going to include Vidalia. So this is beginning to move out of our area and into the Savannah television market. So obviously we're going to continue to track this through Montgomery County, but I think our attention really needs to shift and stay on what's going on in Cordele and Crisp County with that tornado warning, but then eventually getting into Wilcox County. Again, we weren't highlighting a specific part of Wilcox County that needs to be headed to the safe place. It's all of Wilcox. It's going to be from Pineview down to Abbeville, including Rochelle, and down to the county line. That is included within this tornado warning here that's going to run for just about a little more than 30 minutes from now. And then we've got the velocity signature here, which the National Weather Service made a good point about 5 minutes ago. We are far away from a lot of radar sites in this general area, so our view is not as good as it could be of this storm but we're going to continue to keep a close eye on that one. Jordan, looks like you got some hail pulled up with that other storm that has the new severe thunderstorm warning on it.
Yeah, that's right. This is all just west of Mount Vernon, north and east of Alamo, west of Terrytown, and south of Soperton. I think that's partly the reason they've issued that severe thunderstorm warning. All of this is moving eastward, and it looks like we just got an next radar update. It looks like the hail did calm down a little bit, but we're still seeing about a ½ inch size, in diameter of hail moving eastward into Wheeler County, Vidalia eventually. This is all within that severe thunderstorm warning and tornado warning that we've been tracking for a while now. Something else I wanted to mention was there's another hail core associated with that other tornado warning moving across Vienna now, crossing I-75, continuing eastward towards Pineview. Lily, you guys are good in terms of the hail, and this is all just south of Pinehurst as well. It looks like up to about a ½ inch in diameter of size hail moving through that area too. But just zooming out, once again, getting that bigger picture. Let's see what's going on right now. Majority of the severe weather is happening now, let's see, south of Perry, south of I-16, partly along I-75. So that's where all of the activity is now as of 1:39 p.m. All to say that all of this has moved in a lot earlier than what the models were saying earlier. But right now we do still have that tornado warning for Lawrence, Montgomery, parts of Trutland, and parts of Wheeler County now. That's until 2 p.m. currently. And then if we zoom out some more and move back over to this other tornado warning, that's in Crisp, Duly, and Wilcox County. That's until 2:15 p.m. I'm going to see if we have any debris signature there. We're picking up on some different colors here, I'll say, but I don't think that's necessarily any debris that's lofted in the air. And then I'm going to make my way back over to the other tornado warning through Wheeler County, and also not seeing a lot of colors that would warrant me calling this debris signature, for example. But that severe thunderstorm warning is still in place due to the strong winds and mainly the hail that's still moving through that area. However, I do think that they're going to drop some of these tornado warnings eventually, and hopefully we don't see anything else spin up. Just east of our viewing area, that tornado watch is still in play. We got a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings, and places north of Macon for now, you guys are actually in the clear in terms of severe weather. Yes, you will see some stratiform rain for, the next hour or so, maybe more. However, again, the severe stuff is now down to our south. Let's see if the National Weather Service has any updates for us. And it looks like a train spotter confirms a tornado on the ground at Georgia 19 and Camp Road west of Alamo in Wheeler County. But we're going to keep you guys updated on that. This looks like the tornado warning in Crisp, Duly, and Wilcox County that expires at 2:15 p.m. I'm not really seeing much rotation associated with this system. If there were to be something, my eyes lean towards this little area right here. But again, we're farther away from the radar, so some of this data is a little bit more skewed. However, it's what we are relying on. And even if this data is skewed, we'd rather focus on this than anything else, right? And then in terms of the potential for a tornado through Wheeler County, I'm not seeing much rotation here. This catches my eye right here, and this could be some recycling here. This right here, you kind of see the rotation there. I'm going to keep an eye out on that, but for the most part, this should be some straight line winds. Zooming out a little bit to see what's going on. And it looks like we do have some pretty strong wind gusts still moving through the Mount Vernon area. I think they're going to expire this tornado warning here. At the very least, they may extend it, but this severe thunderstorm is definitely warranted with the severe thunderstorm warning in place. But I think we have the power outage map and update on that. This is from Georgia Power, and in terms of where we're seeing the most power outages, Eastman is currently seeing power outages up to 900 customers affected. That's in Dodge County, And then just taking this county by county, Telford County, 2,752 customers without power. Wheeler County, 808 customers without power. Let's see, Montgomery, over 1,000. Trutland looks good for the most part. And currently, Perry has 1,000 to 3,000 customers excuse me, wait, I don't think that's accurate. Let's see. Houston County, according to this map here, 1 to 1,200 customers, so 1,000 to 1,200 customers without power. Up to 1,400 is what it says. So that said, I believe meteorologist Ben Jones, are we ready? Let's see, he's cutting on his mic.
Yes, we are, Jordan.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
We did a little magic and transformed Alex Forbes into Ben, so I'm going to take it over to you.
All right, great job, fellas. Appreciate it. Yeah, we're just kind of checking in on this stuff. It's looking like, just as the big picture thing, once again, it's mainly rain for our whole area. So if you're watching anywhere in the central Georgia area, I just want you to go ahead and know up front that the severe threat is down here on the bottom. So this is going to be like the knife's edge, the razor edge down here, and this is where typically you're going to see it. All this is washed over. The atmosphere is stabilized up here, maybe still some rumbles of thunder. And some rain kind of rolling toward the west to east here, but it's this down here at the bottom. And so we've been watching these tornado warnings, and there's a new one now. It looks like that one that was going to go for Wheeler County into Montgomery was a severe thunderstorm warning, and now that's gone into a tornado warning. Now this also has technically now left the 13 WMAZ viewing area, so this is going on off toward the east. But again, something to watch for places like Mount Vernon and Vidalia. But as far as we are concerned now, Wheeler is technically, yes, listed in there in the warning, but not really, only just a piece of it there as this is sliding on out. So that storm we are getting, it's getting farther away from us, and it's moving again toward the Savannah area. Let's go back to the one, and that's a storm that's been, you know, a player here for the past hour or more. And one to keep an eye on. Let's go to velocity and check in on these two cells here. The one that is, and again, Alex and Jordan have been talking about the same thing. The problem is you start to kind of get into no man's land in some of these spots where you're in between radars. And so, you know, with the curvature of the earth, you're going to get the beam shooting from one radar from Jeffersonville, Valdosta, Jacksonville, you know, all these Charleston places, and they're all meeting up here. So what's going on the ground, it's hard to see once you get this far out. But again, you can clearly see this has already left Wheeler County. So the storm that we are now focusing on is the one that is in Duly, Crisp, and now into Wilcox County. And technically that goes for 30 more minutes until 2:15. Now, if you look at the orientation of this and look at the way the polygon is going, kind of running like this, so this would possibly, if it holds and we actually have something here that's rotating, southern Dodge County on into Telfair County. Of course, obviously Wilcox as well. So right now, if you're in Rochelle, Abbeville, you want to be in the tornado safe space right there, centermost room of the house. Again, we may not have anything technically on the ground, but we can see some sort of something going on there. And it's unfortunate though, we need more radars. The National Weather Service needs more radars, to be honest. So you're not trying to triangulate between these areas with radars so far away. So that's the storm relative velocity. Let's see, base. So what we're not seeing, and what I usually say is, you know, something that is, you know, really screaming, hey, I'm a tornado, look at me, which was, we were the red and green polygon, or the red and, you know, the gate-to-gate shear, those little points, those pixels are right close together, and you can tell that something's rotating. We're not really seeing that here, but clearly there's a lot of wind with this. Let's take the warning layer off and then ask it a question. And some of this yellow here. Yeah, easily seeing winds that could be around 60 miles an hour to maybe 70. So for sure, a severe thunderstorm warning. As far as whether or not anything is rotating in here, question on that. There's a new scan coming in. Even without that, you can see a little bit of a hook in there with some of this. Let's go back to, let's show you the reflectivity mode. Let me go back out first to big picture here, and then we'll get to the other. Here is the big picture with the classic tornado watch, you know, boxes on there, so you kind of get a feel of how all this is looking. And I like to every once in a while just peel back out. Sometimes you can be so close in for a while and then you kind of lose your bearings. So this is the main swath, and this is kind of going along sort of. The timing was a little off earlier today with what the models were showing, which would be this main line coming on down. And by the way, since we're waiting on new information down here into Crisp and Wilcox, Okay, all right, is what happens later on this afternoon. And by that I mean, do we clear out, the clouds break apart, we get sunshine, and we start to heat back up. Not the best scenario because we have this second wave coming in overnight tonight into tomorrow morning, so we really want the clouds to hang around to keep things kind of stabilized, to limit the brunt of that, which would probably straight line winds mainly with that one overnight and tomorrow morning. Okay, what do we have here? This is a DOT camera. All right, so this is in Toombs County here, McIntosh Street. You can see a lot of rain. Traffic seems to be moving all right there. So there's some different cameras as we look around just to kind of see how things are playing out actually on the ground. All right, so we'll go back to the radar. And that's the big picture, but we're going to take you in with the reflectivity here. Now, it is important to note, as I talked about a minute ago, talking about the cloud cover and what happens later on today could dictate what happens tonight, overnight into tomorrow morning. And you can see the back of these clouds here. Again, we want this kind of stuff to hang around so those temperatures don't start to take off. And you're still talking another 6.5 hours until sunset that we need to try to keep a lid on this stuff so that that next round overnight into tomorrow morning doesn't have quite the same thump. And I do think that with that one, it would be primarily straight line winds with that sort of thing. And I mean, they're both damage. You can get both, you know, for tornado or straight line winds. It's just one is not spinning and the other one's going straight here. All right, so we're gonna save this here and we're gonna go to velocity mode, just setting up some templates here so we can kind of jostle back and forth.
Yeah, and I did want to mention that.
Oh, go ahead, Jordan's mic?
Yeah.
You're good, okay.
All right, I did want to mention that we do still have that hail core moving through parts of Montgomery County at the moment. It just came out of Alamo, passed through Mount Vernon, and now is headed towards Vidalia. This is north of Toombs Central. I think we were just showing that camera a few moments ago, but that's all headed eastward. We did have a hail core back off near that other tornado warning, now just south of Pineview, less than an inch. So we're talking about a ½ inch size hail potentially there. Again, this is all now east of I-75 compared to earlier. This is tracking towards Rochelle, and again, Pineview, eventually Abbeville. And it looks like we just got another update.
They did some trimming back.
Gotcha.
On that, and are leaving it more Wheeler County with that. Didn't mean to interrupt you there, Jordan, but on the chat here from a few minutes ago, in Wheeler County, west of Alamo on Camp Road, confirmed, a spotter confirmed a tornado on the ground, Georgia 19 and Camp Road west of Alamo and Wheeler. That was about 10 minutes ago that this came out. So, you know, as we're trying to figure out, you know, what all happened here. Let me take these clouds off for a second. And we'll watch counties off. As we're trying to figure out, you know, what's gone through, what's happened, did something actually happen? From a trained spotter in Alamo, confirmed tornado was on the ground at some point. Now that's the thing that is going through Montgomery, I mean, on over into Toombs and all that now, and has left our area. But somewhere in this area, and we'll check on that. And it pretty much tracks with what we were showing earlier with where that velocity was going through that area. We can actually go back and see. Let's go back in time a little bit here. Oh, that's the wrong storm. Let's go over to this one. And there's Alamo. So as we go back in time, right through there, yeah, so that's where that notch was, right through here. So wouldn't doubt it. So a trained spotter saying confirmed in that area west of Alamo. What was the exact thing? Camp Road, Georgia 19 and Camp Road west of Alamo. And trying to find it. We could be here for a while trying to find that. But at least if you know what that is and where that area.
I did want to mention that they issued a severe thunderstorm warning just
Yeah,
south of Wilcox County, and they did put a tag on there, tornado possible. So I'm curious if that's different than the tornado warning just north of that viewing area, or is it two different areas of rotation?
Well, I think what it is too is once you cross out of Wilcox County,
right,
and you run south, now you're getting into the other Weather Service office.
Right, that's true.
Tallahassee, I believe is that one there. So they may have a different thinking about that, and so we're going with severe thunderstorm warning. All right, so that's velocity. Let's go back to the radar stuff here and take a look. Definitely a lot of lightning with the storms. It's not hard to pick out where the tough players are. I would say that this is the bigger beast right here, and makes sense. I mean, it's the one coming straight into where all the fuel is, all the heat and instability and all that. So this one's being totally fed, and that's the one that's already left our area here. But as you go into the one, again, around Abbeville and all that, again, you can see a lot of lightning. That's an indication of a healthy storm, obviously. And we can look at the hail core there. That also is a good indication of where we're seeing strengthening or weakening of a storm. And as we look in Wilcox County, you go back, you can see some fluctuations in there. It looks like generally kind of pea-size hail, but occasionally kind of wants to get up to near 1 inch in diameter when it hits those yellow spots there. Okay, we have down trees reported in Eastman, so that would be with that cell earlier that came through. We're talking Eastman, Plainfield area, all that. All right, let's see the photos of that. Yeah, there's a tree on a truck there. Maybe the same truck. Looks like that's going to need a new windshield there. Possibly the same truck. So we have at least a tree down there. Again, it doesn't mean that that's a tornado. That could be straight line winds with that push that over. But again, the National Weather Service will figure all that stuff afterwards. So the one tornado warning that is in our area then is the one that is in Wilcox. And again, not an impressive signature. Again, when you watch these kind of things, when we're doing coverage of this, what we're looking for is that tight red and green next to each other. Sometimes it even gets into the oranges and yellows with green right next to it. So that's wind going toward the radar and wind going away. And that's where you're going to get that counterclockwise spin. We're not seeing that here. I do think there's a healthy amount of wind here. As I just checked in a minute ago, we're looking to 60 to 70 mile per hour winds possible. So it doesn't have to be spinning or rotating. It can be just going straight and still take some trees down there. Again, leaving the Peachtree City office, it gets kind of like inside baseball here. Once you cross over this line and get south of here, this is the southernmost extent of the Peachtree City National Weather Service office. So you have a different thinking with this other office, and they may be thinking, yeah, we'll go ahead and throw a severe thunderstorm warning down this way and see how this runs as it runs down. So again, it gets back to the issue, the problem of being in between, kind of triangulated in between all these different radars, Jeffersonville, Valdosta, Montgomery, Jacksonville, all that, and not getting a real clear picture on the ground because the beam's shooting so high up. So as far as what's on the surface, not able to see it too great. You just wait for a new scan to come in and see how that next one looks. So technically, there's 20 more minutes left on that. There is a new severe thunderstorm warning that is looking to replace that tornado warning, and this is coming out of the Peachtree City office here. So it looks like maybe there's some collaboration between Peachtree City and Tallahassee, trying to figure out how this is going to go as it crosses out of the offices. And it looks like everybody decided to go with one big severe thunderstorm warning. This one went first. Peachtree City picked up on the northern extent here and put it into one polygon. So that is replacing that tornado warning. Now, technically, it's still on the map for right now. And we'll see if that gets dropped. We'll see if there's any talk about that in the chat. I don't see anything about it. So, did it drop off?
Yeah.
Okay, so that officially means we have no tornado warnings. Okay. No tornado warnings. That's important. That's good news right there, Jordan. So we celebrate good times. Come on. So as we look at the big picture, we have the one severe thunderstorm warning. I'm assuming, I haven't looked at that one. Is there a tag for tornado possible?
Let's see.
No? No.
Yeah, it does have that tag.
Yes, it does. Let's see. Cancels hail nearly 1 inch in diameter at times. Well, it says 60 mile per hour wind gusts and nickel size hail. I don't see. Remain alert for a possible tornado. Is the wording in there, but not exactly mentioned as tornado possible. Let's see, severe thunderstorms located along a line extending from Pineview to near Double Run, moving southeast at 45. You're about to clear off of that?
I'm signing you in here.
Okay. All right, we're just doing some changing around on some of the computers here.
Also,
trying to do the delicate thing. What you got,
a
Jordan?
little bit of a different, incident closure. According to 511 Georgia GDOT, some flooding on State Road 230, both directions before Josie Road. All lanes are closed, so That's one area where they're seeing some flash flooding. Some of these spots could see more flooding than others. I think flooding will become more of a threat, or flash flooding rather, with the second wave that'll move in after the ground is already saturated from this event here. But I think in the end, we shouldn't see no more than 2 inches of rain for just about everybody. And speaking of rainfall, we can actually check to see how much radar indicated rainfall we've had over the past 24 hours. And we're going to see that here. It's going to take a second to load because it's got to calibrate everything. But again, this is radar estimated rainfall totals. And as you can see, we're not actually seeing, you know, what you would think. The most rain actually occurred, looks like, in southern Crawford County, just south of Roberta, east of Reynolds, north of Marshallville, and west of Fort Valley. That's where we've seen the most rain, up to 4 inches of radar indicated. But I'm taking it back to you, Ben.
Appreciate it, Jordan. Yeah, that's another issue there when you're looking at all this stuff is like, you know, the rain's starting to pile up in the same spots over and over there. It looks like another giant, not tornado, but a severe thunderstorm warning has been issued. Again, this is not in the Peachtree City office. So this is South Georgia starting to kind of get their act together and starting to pick up on these warnings. So Hazelhurst and Baxley and all these areas as it sags southward. So as we, again, look here, we no longer have any tornado warnings in the central Georgia viewing area. We do have the severe thunderstorm warning for Wilcox County, which goes into southern Dodge and on into Telfair. And again, we don't see a signature on there that is saying there's a tornado there. And the National Weather Service is seeing the same thing. Let's go back and do some big picture stuff. And what you're going to see is still this cluster of stuff all back over here, Columbus Way, LaGrange down to Columbus, and rolling into our western counties. So still for the remaining however many hours this is going to take as it rolls toward the east, southeast to get through. But none of this is severe back here. So you're still probably going to hear some rumbles of thunder. Places like Macon, Warner Robins, you'll get little breaks there, maybe just a few sprinkles for a little bit. But again, let's take a look, and I haven't looked recently. Let's see if we can find it. The graph model for overnight tonight, because technically we are in still, well, they're trimming it back. Interesting. They trimmed that level 3 back down into our southern counties. And so we'll see if that continues to get trimmed or do they leave that there for this overnight thing that may come into tomorrow morning. Let me get back to what I was doing. I was trying to get into the graph model. Here we go. So we're just going to kind of walk through.
It looks a little behind.
Yeah, it's way behind. So let's not look at the timing on this. Just get the idea of this leaving. So it's not picking up exactly with reality what we're seeing now, but you get the gist here as we go on through later. Now, it's right in this moment here that if the clouds start to break as we get on into 5, 6 o'clock this afternoon, and we still have a few hours left before sunset, we talk about it all the time. And you know, when you're in a severe weather situation and there's nothing to clear things out, there's not a cold front that's going to clear it out and it's all over and all that stuff. That potential second round of at least straight line winds overnight into tomorrow morning early would be fueled by a destabilization of the atmosphere. So we don't really want to see these clouds leave south and east and bring the sun back out to heat things back up. And we'll see if that's even enough time to recover the atmosphere. It may not be, but let's go forward.
It looks like they just extended that tornado warning farther out of our viewing area.
For the one that was
in Wheeler County. That's right outside of Wheeler County now.
Okay, Wheeler, Montgomery. Yeah,
Montgomery,
that one.
yes.
Yeah, that one is heading more into Claxton and all that now. Okay, so let's go forward. All right, so right here, take this full. This is 11 o'clock to midnight tonight. Again, this is not gospel. We've seen this kind of go back and forth over the past couple of days as far as the timing. Maybe some rain there, but it would be this. This would be about 7 in the morning. It's actually slower than what I was looking at last night. 7, 8, 9 in the morning. Now, if this is right, it looks like one that would come in with, again, this kind of signature shows mainly straight line winds. So this would be kind of a Boeing line of you know, maybe some 60 plus mile an hour winds, something like that, that sometimes you can see some long severe thunderstorm warning polygons with this. I would lean more toward that mode of severe weather over tornado as we go overnight into tomorrow morning, but obviously the time of year you just can't rule that out. But as it also comes across, it's looking like it's mainly in our southern counties, and then maybe weakening too as we head toward mid-morning as it pushes on off towards South Carolina. We'll see about that trend. But, and that gets me back to the thing I was saying before, so far that level 3 is still out there. So let's add this in. Let's see if we can get it to, well, that's on the future remodel. We can't do that. So what we'll do is we'll go back, just keep an eye on where that is. And we will go back to the convective outlook for the SPC outlook for today and tonight. Now the storms that are going now are rolling south and east, and you would think, all right, the Storm Prediction Center, you can see where they've already just started to carve into it and push this level 3 out. Or do they leave some of this here for late tonight? Because technically, and this gets in the weeds, for these SPC outlooks for one day, it actually goes to like 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. That's this 8 to 8. That's the daytime, the day part for that. So it's not at midnight. So this would technically still apply overnight into tomorrow morning. So the Storm Prediction Center may leave that level 3 for those winds that could come in. Again, it's looking like mainly our southern counties for this overnight, early Friday morning thing, if it happens. And again, that's still a big if. If all this stuff that we've had out here continues to wash the atmosphere over, and by that I mean hot, muggy, energy, all that stuff has been there, and these storms come in, they eat all that up, they gobble it up. Unless the sun comes back and starts to heat it all up again and the pot of water starts to boil again, you've almost kind of taken the food away from this overnight thing. So one kind of, goes into the other, and the Weather Service was talking about that earlier this week too, that the strength of this first one could dictate whether or not that second one has any sort of thump to it. And right now, the longer we can keep rain kind of going, and keep this going and cloud cover going on into the afternoon, the better perhaps it could look for the overnight into tomorrow morning. So once again, as we look, we are officially, other than that severe thunderstorm warning, basically out of warnings. We're out of tornado warnings. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of off-ramp here for wall-to-wall coverage because we don't have any more tornado warnings. We have this last severe thunderstorm warning that will be sliding on through Telfair County. If something else happens and we get like another tornado warning or something like that, we obviously will come back on and do that. So we'll continue to cover as we go through the afternoon. And of course, coming up, if we don't talk again, at 5 and 6, we'll be previewing the potential for maybe something overnight into tomorrow morning. So we'll take you back to programming now. Appreciate your time.